Oh. Don't you just love it when I click out of the game and it's complete silence? It's just you and me here. No game here. No creepy music. No ghosts. Just you and me. It's all silence. We can have a lot of alone time together, just you and me. How was your day? Did you have a good day? I had a good day. Kind of hungry. A little thirsty. Would you like something to eat? Okay, let's get on with this introduction, shall we? Next episode will get even more personal. You just wait. Anyway, welcome back to the letter. I have no words except the usual. I didn't plan this. I'm just doing it. Because if I plan it, I don't know. I don't think this is a more fun plan. So let's go. I didn't mean to push that button. Wrong button. Whoops. Alright, you guys didn't see that. Totally didn't see that. And that cut did not actually last more than 30 minutes. For you, at least. For me, I was gone for a while. So, let's actually continue with this one. The right save. Still in Zach's apartment. Kinda want to die a little bit, but I'm alright. We'll survive, you know? Despite the massive effort to keep the mood light with small chatter, cooking ends up being a mostly quiet affair. Except for May coughing in the background. Between us, the consistent clapping of the knife against the board and the muffled noise from the television I left running, words have become surprisingly difficult to string together. Not entirely unusual, we've had moments like this before, but definitely unnerving with how things are now. I really wish someone else would come knocking at the door. As pleasant as this is, breaking the ice, keeping a conversation going has never been my forte. That has always been Isabella's or Rebecca's department. Sometimes Ash's, although most coming from him border on awkward or embarrassing. Speaking of the guy, he never did call back, and I'm willing to bet my entire yearly salary that he fell right back asleep after that call. Man, that's such a deep knock. You ever get that thing when you're on Discord and somebody adds a bot and it's just a knocking bot and it makes it sound like somebody's knocking, like in real life? That's what it sounds like, and I hate
Sorry,
it.
Bella, could you?
Yep, I got it.
Nobody's ever done that to me, but I've seen it. And if anybody does it to me, I swear to God.
The potatoes are almost ready, by the way.
I swear to
I
God.
on the heat just in case. You might want to check on them.
Oh, check my potatoes. Check my potatoes.
Hold on, I'll be right there. Sheesh, wait up. If you keep rapping at the door like that, you'll break it down. Ash.
Oh, good. You're awake.
I like how we all know who's at that door. Ash has already welcomed himself in when I take my eyes away from the oven. He's never been really keen with the notion of courtesies after he's warmed up to you, this guy. All 13 of mine locks can attest to that. He's a good fellow, though. Maybe a tad bit standoffish at first glance, but he's trustworthy.
Don't you have work today?
I could ask the same of you.
I like how their hair moves when they move. It's
Hey,
great.
Z-Man.
Please don't.
You're late. Something came up? You need to drop the Z-Man. It's getting old.
Sorry, I got caught up with something at the precinct on the way here. Had to attend to that first before things got out of hand. I'd tell you about it, but you know how it can be with those kinds of things. Later, maybe.
Oh, I'll hold my breath.
And you're here because...
What? I'm not allowed to say hello?
I doubt you're here because of that. And you're not answering my question.
Ah, my bad. Forgot to mention that. He called earlier looking for you. Rebecca's worried because you didn't come home last night.
You could have called my cell instead.
You weren't picking up. Anyway, I'd really hate to cut this little get-together short, but I need to be somewhere else.
Then off you go.
Come on, Isabella, let's get you home. I'll drop you off on the way.
No, she's my bud today. You can have her later.
Wait, we're going now?
He lightly claps a hand on her arm and begins ushering her out of the apartment, throwing a casual wave at me as they pass. Isabella, on the other hand, doesn't appear too fond of the idea, and sure enough, before they can even cross the threshold, she puts a firm foot down, the force alone enough to halt them both and catch the taller man off guard. It would have made for a funny picture, the way Ash almost crashes into her and Isabella giving him an indignant pout over her shoulder. Surprise and confusion are in his face all at once, two things that rarely ever grace it if he can help it. Ooh. A rare moment even for our small group. If only I had my camera with me. Dang.
What is it?
Zach cooked something.
If it's just food, I'll get you something on the way back.
McDonald's, maybe.
But the food! It's Zach's cereal, delicious food that actually tastes like food.
Does other food not taste like food?
At least stay and have a bite, please. Zach, help me here.
These two, whenever they're in the same room, sometimes it feels like hurting a group of unruly kids instead of talking to two mature adults. One moment they're engaged in a pleasant chit-chat, and the next they're bickering over a minor issue. Frankly, if I didn't know any better, and I'd have an what is wrong with my tongue? Is it not working? Somebody order me a new tongue, please. Frankly, if I didn't know any better and have an overactive what is this? What is this? Overactive imagination. I'd say there's something going on. Something ship-worthy. Never mind how utterly impossible that idea is. Or it might just be me reading into too much into things like always. I can already hear Ash's laughter as if I so much suggest such. I cooked up a feast!
I don't know about you two, but I think you guys should really stay. I've already made enough food for all of us, and it'd be a waste. Why, I cooked up that special honey glazed ham you two keep on yapping about. Got some scalloped potatoes with onions and cheddar to go with it, too.
Did this man not say just the last episode? I'm a little short in ingredients. He's got an entire ham. I got an idea. The oven timer dings. I shoot the two of them an apologetic look before sauntering over to the kitchen, mittens in my hand. The sweet smell of the glaze and salty tang of melted cheese, oh god, wafts through the air as soon as I open the door and take out two trays inside. The scent immediately fills the entire room. Even the door and the window is open. The mouth-watering aroma lingers. Good lord. Hey. It's appealing enough that when I put the dishes down on the counter, another starved stomach protests loudly, followed by a burst of laughter. My head snaps up at the two of them, and I can't keep back the smile at the sight they make. Isabella is clinging to the door frame for support, doubled over with breathless laughter. I can do this. Believe in myself. I can read. Ash is more composed of the two, trying to look unconcerned, but the flesh has crept up his neck and cheeks. You blush, boy. It's clear whose stomach that came from, and Isabella's not going to let him live this down.
You're in no place to reject an offer of free food, Frey.
Frey.
I wasn't.
Is that his last name?
Rejecting anything.
I think that's his last name.
Damn it, I just missed a meal, that's all.
Uh-huh.
Aw, he's flustered.
Yeah.
Shut it! Those guys at the precinct said it was urgent. Somebody has to be responsible for it.
Well, aren't you precious?
Right. You know, if you keep laughing like that, you'll burst.
I'm sure it won't be as bad as your stomach
Guys.
suddenly rumbling like a starved.
All right,
Guys,
kiddos, play nice. Food's gonna get cold if we keep this up.
man, I just gotta say, I miss Luke. Because he was just so fun to interact with because he was such a dick. And now we got all these nice people, and I don't know what to do with my crude humor.
Ash, you gonna stay?
Might as well, since Scaredy Cat's so hell-bent on staying.
Boy. Oh. Is there cheese on that? Oh, there's cheese on those potatoes. Oh my god. Oh, why do you do this to me? We eventually settle down after the food has been served. The jibes are... Yes. Replaced by another round of friendly chatter, mostly about what's on the news of the night before. What's on the news of the night before? Okay. I don't talk about the news to my friends, but to each their own. There is, however, a conscious effort to avoid mentioning what's currently on the headlines. The dead is never a good topic to talk over food and polite company, this case in particular. The wounds are too fresh too soon. I'm likely to avoid it as well if I were in position, and someone I personally knew passed away in a gruesome manner like that. Though perhaps the closest we got to broaching the topic is when the Infinite's Mansion is brought up again. But even then, we are careful, Ash and I. Look at his hair, it just looks so... I just want to run my hands through it. Just want to run my hand through that hair. We keep the conversation light and avoid breaking up her late business partner. That's the least we could do.
Right? Yeah, they're planning to move in soon. In fact, they already have a housewarming party planned.
Oh dear.
It's why they wanted us to rush the papers. They wanted to send the invitations out as soon as possible.
Oof.
Oh, now I get it.
Get what?
Remember what I told you last night about the new clients?
Vaguely? Sorry. I was a little out of it yesterday. Was it the photo shoot?
Yep, it's actually for the one you sold. Ermite, something.
What? Ermengarde Mansion?
When you put it that way, I suppose it makes sense why my boss wants me to prioritize the couple.
Can I mention something? Do you mind if I just mention something? So you see how Isabella's ponytail's like in the back? Keep this picture in mind, okay? Okay.
They can have those documents rushed at just a snap of their fingers. And they're more influential than I initially thought. And I guess my boss is expecting a lot more from this project than I expected. Hope I can live up to it.
Your photographs are more than good
It's
enough,
on the
Zach.
side.
You'd probably win an international award if you let yourself.
Remember this picture, and then remember this picture, because I got another one.
Please too. As long as you're good at following instructions.
Yo.
Easier said than done. Different clients have different tastes after all.
Still, a week? I don't think that's possible.
Now that you
Oh, it
mention
is. I've been there.
Yeah. They
I've
wanted
been there.
everything finished at the earliest. To be honest, it's not unheard of, but
But it's still weird. Still weird, yeah?
Fuck. A slip of the tongue. Still barely noticeable to someone who's already familiar with Ash's ways, yet in this moment, it's impossible to miss. I shoot him a curious glance, but he ignores it. Rather
I
pointedly.
can't exactly say it's like that, where I'm just the middleman after all. As much as I want to comment on it, I only know what's on the surface, not the in and outs. It's just that BRC and my boss are more hands-on with the legal stuff this time, despite having a separate department dedicated to it.
Maybe Mr. Wright helped with it too. They have their own legal team for this, don't they?
Right? Are they eating ham with a spoon? Look at this mountain of potatoes she has.
Well, they should have one. Especially for a big property like this.
They have, but like I said, it's off our hands. Rose and I don't handle this stuff in the office.
Didn't. Rose and I didn't.
If anything, to me, this just means I'll be able to send the rest of the funds to Papa's treatment earlier.
I guess that makes a whole lot of sense.
Totally worth being
Officially
haunted for the
off
rest
our
of your life.
instant noodle diet, aren't we?
Ash, has anyone ever told you that you have an uncanny way of ruining the mood?
Hey, his hand's moving. Oh my gosh, didn't know their expressions changed. That's great. Look at that sass though. Look at that sass, like, boy.
What? I was just saying. A few more months of stuffing your face with those, and I'm sure you'll start to look like a noodle cup. That's a pretty picture.
I'm just thinking of Final Fantasy 15, where you can wear a noodle cup on Noctis's head, and it's just beautiful.
At least I don't live off convenience store food. Or make poor, unassuming pressure cookers explode.
What?
What? How did you?
What? I want
Come on,
I want pressure. I want to hear that story.
Sorry, it just came up while we were cooking earlier.
I'm impressed, Ashton Frey. You even made it to the news.
What the fuck?
A one-time thing, and it wasn't as big as you seem to be imagining.
I want to know.
Oh, sure.
Tell us more.
Let's all pretend that one time you almost set my apartment on fire didn't happen too.
Yo, I set my kitchen on fire once. I'm totally with you, man. No one ever told me that you could not fry something if it was crystallized. So, I wanted to fry some mozzarella sticks, but they had like, you know when you put stuff in the freezer and it kind of like snows over, it's got like crystals all over it? I didn't know that you couldn't, I didn't know that if you fried something while it still had like the snowy stuff over it, like the crystals over it, that it would explode into fucking fire. No one has ever given me this general information, and I scorched the back of the wall where the stove was. So,
Hey, that was an accident.
so was mine, Ash. No one, I didn't have the information, you know? I wasn't taught.
You were making a salad, Ash.
You were making, okay, never mind. It's worse.
Can we please move on to a different topic?
You're making a salad with a pressure, wait, what? It helps the casual talk, the harmless teasing, and the mundane stories interesting enough to let time pass unnoticed. Don't you all have jobs? By the time lunch ends, the shadows are no longer at the forefront of my mind. If it's the same for Isabella, or for whatever troubles her, I can never tell. These things, the anxiety, the fear, they ain't easily seen, ain't easily forgotten after all.
You go on ahead. I've got a few things I need to ask Zach.
Yo, I thought it was morning. It's afternoon. Where has the time gone?
I'll be downstairs in a minute.
Oh, my eyes itchy. Yup. Confusion briefly flashes in her eyes as she catches the keys he tosses over. But he doesn't give her an answer and waits for her to go ahead.
How sure are you I won't be driving away with your Shirley?
Oh, sure.
You don't even have a license. Do you even know how to?
Papa taught me how. I'm probably a better driver than you.
Get wrecked.
See you later, Zach. Thanks
We
for the
better
food.
cook her too.
Always has to have the last word, don't you?
Darn
You're
tootin'.
welcome. I'll send you the recipe for the potatoes tonight.
Oh no. Does she even have a stove? A grin is back on her face when she leaves and closes the door behind her. For a little while after we're left alone, Ash goes woolly quiet, listening, waiting for her remaining footsteps in the hall to fade. The earlier amusement is gone from his face, replaced by what I can only describe as trepidation. I know that look all too well. When he's like this, he's expecting shit about to go down at some point soon.
That wasn't very nice, Ash. What was that with Isabella earlier? You're usually subtler with your questions.
They hired you.
Hired me who? Don't change the subject yet. What's really going on here?
The Wrights. Luke and Hannah Wright. You said your next gig is with them.
As far as I know, they haven't broken the law. I mean, Luke's kind of a dick, but that's as far as I know.
Is that what this is all about?
Just be careful around them. You have no idea what you're dealing with when it comes to that couple.
I do. Racism. Assholishness.
I'd rather you stay as far away from them as possible, but you're already here. Isabella's their real estate agent. Seriously, of all the people in Luxburn.
I'm very entertained by the that we're in England, and the lack of a British accent in this entire group is astounding.
Okay. I guess I'll just have to take your word for it.
Just take an entire American cast and just plop it right in here. What the fuck is that? Uh-huh. He nods. I feel like I've made that joke before. Like somebody has just banged their head down. And it's like, yeah. He nods, claps a comforting hand on my back, and turns to leave without another word. He's never been good with those. More often he fumbles with what he wants to say, but his actions alone are enough to tell me how grateful he is for the trust. He reaches out for the knob as soon as he gets to the door, but doesn't turn it. Instead, he looks back and gestures with his head toward the table. I don't need to follow his line of sight to know what he's going to ask about. He's likely taken notice the moment he entered the
You
room.
back on those? I haven't seen you take them in a year.
Yeah, I kinda had to. It got worse after the film fest. The dreams, that is. I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon.
Heard about that. Don't drop it, though. You don't want Becca scolding you. She actually enjoyed the movie you made, and she's hard to please. Consider that a small victory.
You don't have to tell me. She already did. Rebecca and Bella both gave me an earful after I said the opposite. Promised them I wouldn't, but you can never tell. Hopefully, once I feel better, I'll be able to think about it properly. Speaking of Bella, she didn't open up to me, but maybe with you and Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't promise anything, but I'll talk to her.
What would make her want to talk to you?
Thanks.
I'm
That's all
sorry,
I'm
just
asking.
the way these two have interacted so far, I feel like you'd be the one I wouldn't want to go to. Like, if I were to go to anybody to talk to, it'd be Zach. Shit, he's the only dude that I'm like I'd go to with all my problems, and he'd be like, "I'm here if you need a hug." This time, when he reaches the door, he lets it close fully behind him without glancing back. A mild draft sweeps through the room as I close the door behind him, slightly disturbing the papers on the nearby fridge. A lone note flutters by my feet, the letter on the surface glaring at me with mute intensity. Don't be the letter. Oh. That scared me. Ermengarde Mansion to H. Wright, 11 a.m. After Ashton's warning, they all hold a different meaning now. Spook? Zach? 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 Zach, I need to end the episode. No, Zach, you need to stop. Zach, I need to end the episode. You need to stop. You're not even humming on tune. What are you even humming? That's not a song. What are you doing? Are you done? Zach! How do I make this man stop? I need to end the episode and I can't do it with him humming in the background. Bye-bye. You really can't hit those high notes. Anyway, I'm gonna end this episode here. I feel like next episode, I heard water running and I feel like he's like washing up, and I know I can just feel it. That little witch lady is gonna show up in the mirror and spook us all. So that's gonna be fun. Oh my god. Usually the worst part, you'd think the worst part of recording this would be when it actually happens. No, the worst part of recording this is knowing something's gonna happen, but having to wait for it to happen. That's gotta be the worst part. That's the worst part of this, and I love it. Oh my god. Like, I was talking and my dog just shut up so suddenly and scared the living shit out of me. What is wrong with you? I'm not yelling at you. Come here. What are you doing? Come here. Did you get spooked? What happened? Oh my god. You scared the shit out of me. Oh, this is not a good environment for me to be doing any of this in. Alright. I'm gonna end the episode. I'll see you guys all in the next one. I'm gonna slap my dog's butt until she walks away. Anyway, bye-bye.